The River Thames, one of the most recognizable waterways in the world, has played a key role in the fate of Britain since ancient times. Its history is a complex interweaving of natural processes, human activity, trade, war, culture, and art. Formed as a result of glacial melting around 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, the Thames gradually carved valleys across southern England, shaping a landscape that would later become the cradle of British civilization. Archaeologists have discovered Mesolithic campsites, tools, and the remains of ancient structures along its banks, indicating that the river served as a route of movement, a source of food, and a center of early settlement. For the Celtic tribes who inhabited Britain before the Roman conquest, the Thames was not only a transport artery but also a sacred symbol. Offerings were made to the gods in its waters, weapons, jewelry, and sometimes even human sacrifices. When the Romans arrived on the island in AD 43, they quickly recognized the river's strategic importance. On its banks they founded London, Londinium, and constructed bridges, harbors, and fortifications. The Thames became the central trade artery linking Roman Britain with the continent.
После ухода римлян река Темза оставалась важной жизненной линией для последующих англосаксонских королевств. В IX-X веках Темза превратилась также в путь набегов. По ней поднимались датские и норвежские викинги, угрожая Лондону. Однако постепенно королевская власть укрепилась, и река снова стала основой экономического развития. Уже в Средневековье вдоль ее русла выросли десятки городов и монастырей, а Лондон превратился в крупнейший рынок страны.
During the Tudor and Stuart periods, the Thames gained even greater significance. It served as the main economic and ceremonial route of London, with royal palaces such as Whitehall, Richmond, and Hampton Court lining its banks. At that time, the river was considered safer than the narrow, filthy streets of the city, making travel by boat a convenient and secure means of transportation. In particularly cold winters, the Thames froze over, and famous frost fairs were held on the ice, leaving a vivid mark on cultural memory. With the onset of the Industrial Revolution, the Thames became a powerful engine of economic growth. In the 19th century, London developed into the largest port in the world. However, rapid expansion also led to severe environmental problems. By the middle of the century, the river was heavily polluted. The Great Stink of 1858 forced authorities to construct a modern sewage system designed by Joseph Bazalgette, which ultimately saved the city from devastating epidemics. In the 20th century, the Thames faced new challenges, from the destruction of the Second World War to rising sea levels. In the 1980s, the Thames Barrier flood defense system was built to protect London from flooding. Today, the river has once again become a symbol of ecological renewal. Seals, seahorses, and many species of fish have returned to its waters. The Thames remains the heart of London and Britain, a pathway of history, culture, and continuous movement. Its flow connects antiquity with the modern world, reminding us that a river is not merely a geographical feature, but a living participant in the destiny of a nation. In the second half of the 20th and the early 21st centuries, the history of the River Thames entered a new phase of development, reflecting changes in British society, economy, and culture. Whereas the river had previously served mainly as a trade route and a source of raw materials, it has now become a space for innovation, urban experimentation, and cultural dialogue. Post-industrial London has redefined its relationship with the river. Former docks and warehouses have been transformed into residential and creative districts, while old industrial zones have given way to museums, offices, parks, and riverside promenades. One of the most significant examples of this transformation was the regeneration of the Docklands area. Once, enormous cargo ships from Britain's colonies and dominions docked here, bringing tea, spices, timber, cotton, and sugar. However, With the global shift to container shipping, London's port facilities became outdated. By the 1970s, the area was almost completely abandoned. Nevertheless, during the 1980s and 1990s, a large-scale redevelopment project began, leading to the creation of Canary Wharf with its skyscrapers, financial centers, and modern transport infrastructure. This development became a symbol of London's new economic role and demonstrated how the Thames could adapt to the challenges of the times.
Параллельно происходило повышение экологических стандартов, что привело к впечатляющему восстановлению речной системы. Научные исследования конца XX века показали, что река Темза местами считалась биологически мертвой. Но к 1010 годам ситуация кардинально изменилась. Река стала домом для множества видов рыб, включая лосося, форель и угря, а также для тюленей и даже небольших популяций дельфинов, время от времени появляющиеся у берегов Лондона. Вдоль русла высаживаются новые деревья, восстанавливаются болотистые участки и создаются природные заповедники, что помогает сохранить биоразнообразие.
Another important milestone was the continued modernization of flood protection systems. The Thames Barrier, completed in 1982, is still regarded as one of the most powerful engineering structures of its kind in the world. However, due to climate change and rising sea levels, British engineers continuously monitor the situation and discuss plans for future defense systems. Proposals include the construction of new flood barriers or the modernization of the existing barrier by the middle of the 21st century. In this way, the Thames remains an object of strategic national importance. The cultural significance of the river has also increased. The Thames has become a venue for festivals, exhibitions, and open-air theatrical performances. Along its banks stand such iconic landmarks as the London Eye, the modernist Tate Modern Gallery, the reconstructed Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, and the Shard skyscraper, which has become one of the capital's new architectural landmarks. All of this makes the river not merely part of the urban landscape, but a symbol of creative and dynamic London. In addition, the Thames continues to serve as an important transport route. The development of river public transport, such as the Thames Clippers, has provided an alternative to congested road networks. Thousands of passengers travel along the river every day, using it as a convenient, scenic, and efficient transport corridor. Today's Thames represents a fusion of history and modernity, engineering achievement and natural beauty. Its role extends far beyond the purely utilitarian. The river has become part of British identity and a source of inspiration for poets, artists, and filmmakers. It continues to flow through the centuries, changing together with the people, yet remaining an enduring symbol of London, its memory, and its future.
At the beginning of the 21st century, the Thames became the setting for even more ambitious urban development and environmental projects, reflecting London's aspiration to transform itself into a city of the future. One such initiative was the creation of extensive pedestrian and cycling routes along the river. The Thames Path programme, stretching for more than 290 kilometres from the river's source in Gloucestershire to its estuary on the North Sea coast, has become popular with both residents and tourists. This route allows visitors to experience the Thames in all its diversity, from narrow meanders winding through pastures to the broad metropolitan river curving past skyscrapers and bridges. The bridges of the Thames deserve special mention, as they not only connect the riverbanks but also reflect the architectural tastes of different eras. With the completion of the Millennium Bridge in 2000, the river gained a new symbolic space linking two major cultural centres, St. Paul's Cathedral and the Tate Modern Gallery. Despite initial technical problems, the bridge quickly became one of the city's most popular pedestrian routes. This was followed by projects to restore and modernise Waterloo Bridge, Hammersmith Bridge, and other engineering structures, highlighting contemporary London's desire to combine functionality with aesthetic expression.
Тем временем, роль реки Темзы в культурной жизни города продолжала расширяться. Ежегодные фестивали, такие как Totally Thames, привлекают художников, музыкантов и историков со всего мира. Темза стала своеобразной сценой, на которой проводят световые шоу и спортивные состязания. Одним из самых известных событий остается традиционная гребная гонка между университетами Оксфорда и Кембриджа, проводимая с 1829 года. Она сохранила свою популярность и стала частью национального фольклора, объединяя историческую традицию и современный спортивный азарт.
Infrastructure modernization also played a crucial role in the region's development. The construction of the Crossrail line, now known as the Elizabeth Line, which includes stations near the Thames, significantly improved accessibility to many areas and strengthened their economic potential. New residential districts emerged along the river, often built on the sites of former industrial zones. Areas such as Battersea and Rotherhithe were transformed into attractive places to live, featuring parks, river promenades, and cultural centres. Particularly illustrative was the redevelopment of Battersea Power Station, a unique monument of industrial architecture that has been converted into a multifunctional complex with shops, offices, and residential spaces. However, development also brought new challenges. Flooding risks caused by climate change have required a reassessment of water management strategies. Experts increasingly discuss the need to modernize the Thames barrier and to construct additional protective structures in the lower reaches of the river. In addition, water quality remains a pressing issue. Despite significant progress, efforts to combat plastic waste, sewage pollution, and microcontaminants continue. Nevertheless, the Thames remains not only an object of care, but also a source of inspiration. Its image is present in contemporary literature, film, music, and visual art. A growing number of initiatives aim to reconnect people with the river, to make it not a boundary of the city, but its heart. Today, the Thames is a space for dialogue between nature and humanity, between history and the future. It continues to flow through the centuries, reminding us of the continuity of time and of the fact that each generation leaves its own mark upon its banks.
In the 21st century, the Thames has become not only a symbol of London but also a major platform for scientific research and innovative environmental projects. Scientists view it as a living laboratory in which the effects of urbanization, climate change, and measures aimed at restoring aquatic ecosystems can be observed. In this respect, the river has become a unique object of interdisciplinary study, ranging from hydrology and biology to sociology and urban studies. One of the most notable projects of recent decades is the systematic monitoring of the river's condition, involving volunteers, students, and professional researchers. Thanks to these efforts, vast amounts of data have been collected on biodiversity, water flow, salinity, and fish migration. Particular attention is paid to the interaction between the Thames and riverside communities. Along the middle and lower reaches of the river lie dozens of small towns and villages that have historically depended on fishing, navigation, and trade. Although many traditional occupations have disappeared or evolved over time, local residents continue to maintain strong ties with the river. Festivals, fairs, and regattas are held regularly, while boating clubs and community groups preserve historic barges and wooden vessels. These initiatives help strengthen cultural heritage and preserve historical memory of the role the Thames has played in people's lives.
В последние годы все больше внимания привлекает адаптация городов к изменяющимся условиям климата. Лондон активно разрабатывает стратегию устойчивого развития, включая проекты по созданию новых водно-зеленых пространств, способных удерживать избыток дождевых вод и снижать риск наводнений. Перспективные концепции предполагают строительство плавучих парков, набережных и смотровых платформ, которые будут одновременно рекреационными зонами и защитными сооружениями. Подобные проекты демонстрируют, что современные города стремятся воспринимать воду не как угрозу, а как ресурс, требующий уважительного и грамотного использования.
The Thames has also become central to international discussions on the protection of marine ecosystems. Since the river flows into an estuary connected to the North Sea, any change in its chemical composition affects coastal environments. In recent years, scientists have paid particular attention to microplastics, tiny particles that have a significant impact on the health of fish and marine mammals. Programs have been implemented to reduce plastic pollution, clean riverbanks, and raise public awareness. Increasing numbers of school and university groups are becoming involved in volunteer initiatives to clean the river and monitor water quality. Cultural life around the Thames continues to flourish. The river regularly hosts light installations, theatrical performances, and art exhibitions, transforming it into an open-air stage. Especially prominent are projects that use water as an interactive element, such as floating light sculptures or digital projections on the river's surface. These initiatives highlight the fact that the Thames is not merely part of the city's infrastructure, but also a powerful artistic image. Today, the river is perceived as a living system that requires constant attention, care, and study. The Thames unites past and future. Its banks preserve the memory of ancient civilizations, Roman fortifications, medieval markets, and industrial ports, while its waters reflect the lights of the modern metropolis and the ambitions of those seeking to build a sustainable and harmonious city. The history of the Thames continues, and each generation adds a new chapter to it, whether through engineering innovations, cultural projects, or environmental achievements.